Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Brother Bear in 2003. This is the 44th Disney animated feature film and it's directed by Blaise and Robert Walker. Now this film, I'd never seen it before actually. Another Disney film and part of the Disney post-Renaissance era, which I'm not that well versed in. But yeah, I'd never seen this one and I always actually I wanted to see it as a kid, and I kept seeing this trailer of it on another VHS, of course, as you would, and basically always wanted to get that, and it was kind of I think I couldn't ever find it because it was more obscure than a lot of the other ones. But here we are, many years later, and yeah, I've been looking at some rankings recently. Now that I'm actually properly watching, making it my mission to watch all 56 Disney animated feature films, and review them of course on the channel. And I was looking at some rankings, and Brother Bear is usually very, very low, and it's not that popular, especially critically, and just not very popular. You do get some people saying it's underrated, but basically as well, Phil Collins would work again on these songs, and as well the score. So it really interested me, this film. It's basically post Ice Age Alaska set, and you've got these tribe and everything, and very early on, they're kind of doing this ceremony, and it's through all this spiritual stuff, which they tie into it, and basically, you learn that these brothers, are very, very cruel to animals. Really, they hunting, all these animals, and basically, they don't, it's trying to teach you a lesson, of course, the film, about killing animals as well and stuff, and because a bear is killed, very early on. And basically this character of Kenai kills this bear, basically, and he is, he's transported, it's not spoilers at all, it's transported, he's changed into this bear, and, of course, to kind of teach him a lesson. Now, of course, his brother, the other brother that was left, basically thinks he was killed, by with his fight on the bear, the fight on the mountain with the bear, and he basically tries to hunt, this bear down, and it is actually his brother, his own brother, of Kenai, and along the way he meets this little cub, called Coda, and basically he has this journey with him and this little cub, and he basically teaches him about brotherhood, and just humanity, more humanity in there to kind of change this guy of Kenai, and very, very powerful messages, you could say, involved in that, and of course as well, very touch and go moments as he's been hunted, by his actual brother, who believes he is actually a bear, and you try and get revenge. Now, it also deals with different things, spirit. The spirit world and everything ties in there as well, and basically I think this film, basically it really it didn't start off well for me. It wasn't bad, the start, but it just kind of underwhelming, a bit mediocre for me, close to average, but just not quite there. And just basically I wasn't feeling that connected to this whole film, really, and I just didn't think the storytelling was that great. The character of Kenai, wasn't that interesting to begin with. And the fact that he was just very nasty, of course, and killing all these animals and this bear, just didn't I don't think it was handled that well, really. And you could something. The film gets better and better, really. The first 20 minutes, first 25 minutes, really, I didn't care for that much. But 5 or 10 minutes after he starts, becomes a bear, Kenai. And he meets this little cub called Coda. Basically, the film slowly picks up, and becomes the one that I did actually care for. And really, most of the film after that is good, definitely. No less than good. At times, a lot of times, very good, and in small places, great. It has such great moments, and just very, very human. I did actually buy into this kind of these characters and this narrative eventually, once it kicked in, the two bears together, and they met up with these other massive, this massive group, of bears as well, and I loved all that sort of stuff. Very, very warm, heartfelt, moving, and Just really good character development at times. Overall, I don't think this is some of the best Disney characters at all or anything like that. And at times they're a bit generic, you could say. For me, I just didn't. I didn't get fully invested. Considering this is again talking animals, and it has kind of they're going for a really emotional undercurrent to the film. It's not. It was maybe a bit disappointing in terms of that. But in terms of the rating, it is definitely underrated for me. I feel. I don't think it's a bad film at all. I did really like a lot of it. To be honest, I really liked most of it, apart from the first 25 minutes. And it was about an 80-minute film, so it does bring down my score a lot. It's not going to be in the 8s, unfortunately. It would have been if it had stayed. Basically the consistency of the time after 25 minutes. Definitely would have been that. And it had some great moments. But it just didn't. The human stuff at the beginning just didn't really compel me that much, and it took about 5, maybe even 10 minutes for it to kick in with the bear, storyline where, I actually did really get invested and get emotionally attached, because I don't think the writing at first, was that great. Didn't really draw me in, as I say, and had some really good stuff going for it, the spirit world stuff in there, and just the animation actually was really good, I think the animation throughout is very good. It's very nice, and as well, once the music kicks in by Phil Collins and stuff, it really does pick up, and definitely overall a good film. I don't think it's a great one, and it would have been very good, if it was consistently that throughout. It took a while, as I say, to get going, for me to actually get invested, and at times it's a bit heavy-handed, very early on, and but basically. It really turned into something, a very warm journey between these two characters. And, at the ending, the ending you could say, 10 minutes, maybe 5. It's something that actually is a bit stunning, you could say. It really is. And it's stuff that came together in a way that really, I did really, really like. And, kind of a twist in there as well. And very, very shocking, actually, as well. It's kind of revealed early on, but yeah, basically, it really comes together amazingly well at the end, you could say, and very, very warm, heartfelt film for the most part. And I just think the character development after the first 25 minutes was very good for mostly, and the character of Kenai, did definitely get a lot better. This whole arc of him, was actually compelling in the end, and Coda as well. This kind of narrative going on as well of him, very, very touching. Quite beautiful at times, and it could have been, more at times throughout this film. I was thinking this could have been a lot better than what it was, but overall I think it is a good film, and very well directed. After this 25-minute mark, and it just it's really well edited, I think, and the visuals are very, very nice, and just a warm film mostly after this. I don't think the first bits were that warm really. I feel. It was a bit rushed as well and a bit generic for me. But once, it kicked in and the actual bear storyline, was starting, really did care about the film. And, there's a couple of side characters that come along for the ride. These two characters that aren't that great. A bit annoying, actually. There's a couple of jokes here and there as well, even still, after the 25-minute mark, the jokes weren't that good. And, the jokes weren't good at all in the first 25 minutes, really. But still a little bit present there, for the comedy relief. Wasn't done too well, but yeah, overall I think, it is a good film, definitely, and would have been very good, if it had been that throughout the whole film, what it was, and very, very good ending, you could say great. So I'd have to give it a 70, and I was thinking between a 75 and a 76, and in the end, I think I'd have to give it a 76, actually, and it edges into what I would round up to, 4 stars basically, and I just feel that, I just feel it's not, a very good film overall, but it was mostly very good. At times it was quite stunning, and came together wonderfully at the end, and it tied in loads of different things. It was a short film, and due to the fact that the first 25 minutes wasn't quite really average for me, that's why the score is a lot lower. To what I've been kind of maybe enthusiastically saying about the rest of the film, and it's a shame when that happens, but I have to be honest, I'm not going to ignore that the first 25 minutes I wasn't really, fully invested in this really at all, and I found a lot of flaws. I just wasn't. I was feeling this is kind of a very generic kind of Disney film, and I never thought it was bad. I just thought it was kind of a bit below average at this part, and it did massively pick up. And as a lot of Disney films do this actually, just not off to the greatest starts. Mulan, you could say, Little Mermaid, although that kind of was the first half of the film, and it never really, you know, got that much. It never got great or anything. But you could say a lot of the Disney films, and mainly the Renaissance, and the kind of the post-Renaissance. It just takes a while for a lot of them to actually pick up. It's never. A lot of the time, it's not off to the best of starts. There are definitely exceptions there. And actually, Hercules surprisingly was opposite. It kind of let itself down in the final act. But yeah, I think this was one of the films that Disney films that didn't quite have the greatest of starts. It wasn't that good really. It wasn't even average for me. And but it really picked up, and it became something I really cared for. It was handled with much more care and sincerity. Once they really became bears, but it took a while, 5 minutes or so, to actually become better as well then, because it kind of played for laughs a little bit. I think early on it wasn't quite taken as seriously as it should have been, and it was for the rest of the film, it really was, and it had its really nice moments, you could say, and touching moments. It had some really, towards the end, quite emotional moments, actually, and it's not a film for me that really elevates like a lot of Disney films can. Animated films in general, it's not that one where it goes to a wow, mind-blowing, level of elevation, or it's nothing masterful really, but it does have its moments that do elevate, towards the end in particular. So yeah, overall, good film. 76%, and it would have been 75. But it really, I think, just the niceness and the kind of humanity of the ending. I think, in my mind, it's been playing. Yes, I would give it a 76. So that would be a film I'd definitely recommend, and definitely an underrated film by Disney. It's not. No way is this a bad film. Definitely not. And even the beginning wasn't bad. It was just a bit under par. But yes, definitely recommend it. I did overall mostly really enjoy the film. It's just good film overall in terms of quality, and just a warm one again by Disney. So yeah. Thanks for watching my review, and of course more Disneys will be up soon, and as I've said, of course, in this video, all 56 of them Disney animated official feature films will be reviewed at some point on this channel. I've been doing a lot recently, and there's one that I saw, yesterday, and I've still, which was Friday, of course, and I said I'd be reviewing it, but it's really hard. My rating, it stumped me a bit. It's Tangled, so maybe that will be up in the next day or two. But yeah, basically that will be coming. I have watched that, and I'll reveal my thoughts then. And of course, there's loads more that's going to come. As I say, I'm going to do them all. So anyway, thanks for watching my review of Brother Bear.